Qian Pao, Dragonite, Urshifu Water, Flutter Mane, Chi-Yu, and Iron Hand. So it combines two of the most common cores, which is Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane, and Urshifu and Dragonite Qian Pao, which are both really strong. That being said, Incineroar has a lot of great tools for it, and they don't have anti-priority, meaning we could do something like set up Trick Room relatively easily. I'm not too worried about that. I think with that, I actually would like to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in for a graph Incineroar. The main thing I would have to watch out for is like Chi-Yu and Flutter, but I think like it's still fine. It would be like Ghost Terra Chi-Yu would stop this play. I think Ursaluna in the end. And yeah, actually Primarina, I think the main thing would be at that point Iron Hands, but I can find ways to deal with it later, right? Kind of like that last battle, right? If it's the last Pokemon, then you're good. Yeah. And I was like, I'm glad they showed me the Terra, and then I attacked. I think it would have been interesting if they didn't Terra, then I would have to still play the mind game, and have one more turn. So I was like, wait, I'll pump the brakes a little bit. Let's not keep on going that full momentum. Alright, so let's see what this opponent has, what lead they go for. They go for the Flutter Mane Chi-Yu lead, okay. We're going to be leading for Farigiraf and Incineroar, so I wanted to see Qian Pao Dragonite. That would have been a much better one, but it's totally fine here. The opponent has to commit to using Ghost Terra here to get around this. And Flutter reveals Booster is at speed. It is, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and Trick Room here. Oh, you know what? That's a great question. Honestly, Fairy Terra looks really solid, because if Chi-Yu goes for Dark Pulse and I flinch, and it's Ghost Terra, then I'm in trouble. So I'm down for a Trick Room, and Fake Out, just to cover all my bases. Then the following turn, I can use something like Dazzling Gleam, Parting Shot, and things like that. So we're going to play it this way. Yep, okay, cool. I figured that something like this was going to happen. Chi-Yu's going to Ghost Terra. Yeah. So I wanted to cover a couple plays here. Oh, just Fire Terra. Okay. I mean, that means I get Trick Room off. I don't regret this play because I don't think Ghost Terra on Blood Moon actually helps me out. Yeah, against the rest of the team, it doesn't. This does actually expose me a little bit to Iron Hands against Primarina and also Blood Moon, but we can find ways to work with that in the end game. But the fact that you went for Fire Terra is nice. That means, okay, Chi-Yu's not going to do anything. Oh, that's interesting. I did not anticipate that. Well done. Taunt from, Farigiraf. Okay. A taunt on Farigiraf. Okay. I'm down for a Parting Shot into Chi-Yu. I don't care about that. Icy Wind is not a big deal. I'm slow anyways. So. Oh gee, that took a lot more than I wanted. That's not fun. Fairies using taunt seem to be your nemesis. Yeah, for real though. Oh man, I feel that 100%. The fairies taunting, man, that's tough. That's really cool though. Taunt on Flutter Mane is pretty rare, so it was kind of cool to see that happen. But yeah, now we'll lower Chi-Yu's attack power a little bit. I actually do feel confident throwing in Ursaluna, yeah. And then that means I get to bring out Incineroar again, and I can go with Fake Out into Hyper Voice. I think one challenge obviously is just like, unfortunately I won't be able to, Okay, so I'd imagine Chia would want to switch out, right? Or Protect. It's Heat Wave, right? So it probably was Choice Specs? Okay, I think I'll do it this way. I'll Parting Shot into Chi-Yu, expecting it to switch out, and I will Blood Moon into Flutter Mane. No, they stayed in. Dang. But this is kind of interesting. Because by doing this, they activate weakness policy. I guess the question is, does Chi-Yu get the knockout on Ursaluna at this point? Which it could. I mean, it might be -1, but it's Chi-Yu. It's really strong here. Yeah, we're getting Terra-boosted Heat Wave. So we're asking a lot. We survive with 4 HP. We get burnt, though. Oh my goodness. Come on now. Okay, now Chi-Yu's at -2, so that's helpful. And we're going to get the KO on Flutter, but I feel like it's a little bit too late. Actually, no. That still works out. Main thing I need to be mindful of is Iron Hands, right? So. Yeah, so we get the KO on Flutter. I think in that case it would have been nice if I was able to click Hyper Voice. Probably gotten a double KO at that point. And the burn from Heat Wave was unfortunate, but I was anticipating Chi-Yu to switch out. Like, oh, you want to avoid Fake Out, maybe Flutterman can do an attack or something, and then eventually get Chi-Yu later in the battle, but them sticking around wasn't great. If it's Iron Hands that comes out now, that's it won't be impossible, because then I'm just going to fake out Iron Hands, and then I'm going to use Hyper Voice. But yeah, I am curious to see what their next Pokemon is going to be. Hopefully it's not Iron Hands. Oh, it is Iron Hands. Great. Okay, well, that makes it a little bit harder, because now my objective is I'm going to use... this is not too bad, because I do intimidate their Iron Hands, and I do have Fake Out Presser. I would imagine Chi-Yu is Choice Specs, so I can use Hyper Voice, and I'm going to Fake Out here. Yeah, and so I wanted to make sure I prevented a Fake Out. I needed to get some damage on Chi-Yu. Hopefully the Hyper Voice should be enough, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, we take that comfortably, which is great, and I get to fire off the Hyper Voice. Not enough to knock out Chi-Yu, unfortunately. A crit on their Iron Hands, which is nice, and I get Throat Spray activated, which is also good. Okay, I think at this point, I'm down to Moonblast into their Iron Hands, and I'll Darkest Lariat into Chi-Yu. I should survive. Perfect. And the reason why I didn't go for Flare Blitz, and actually a nice reason I had Darkest Lariat, is so I don't faint into Recoil. So that's a free KO on Iron Hands. I don't have to worry about Royal Charge anymore. And I get Darkest Lariat off, so I get to knock out Chi-Yu. Whew, man, this is one heck of a battle. Yeah, that's crazy. We didn't get Trick Room up, but Primarina is looking pretty primed and ready to go. It really depends on what their last Pokemon is. If it's Dragonite would be weird. Qianpao is easier. Nah, it's Urshifu. Oh, it's Urshifu. Okay. So I'm gonna, yeah, I'll just Parting Shot if you decide to attack Primarina. Yeah, I resist. Okay. If your focus asked is the problem. But it doesn't look like that's the case. Well, it still doesn't matter here, because if you're focus asked, then you can only KO 1 or 2, and I'm going to Darkest Lariat next turn anyways. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah. So, whew, that was an explosive battle, y'all. Whew, I was nervous that entire time, but, while we got the turn 1 incorrect, and we lost our Terra, I think one thing that really helped us out there was Primarina. And you can tell, Primarina honestly matches up well against a lot of Pokemon. We barely took any damage from Heat Wave. And then finally, whenever it was over, we were able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to Darkest Lariat into Chi-Yu, knock it out. And then I'm just going to... Right, the Hyper Force did a lot of damage. And then we were able to just Moonblast, get Iron Hands out of there, and be able to knock it out. I think the turn 1 Fake Out also helped. And yeah, that was really nice.